was a cold wild winter. You were sleeping on my shoulder. I was praying that the raging storm would stay a little longer. With your feet up on the dashboard of my summer dream in Westwood, I was hoping that we'd wake up to the softest of spring mornings, humming do 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 do.
Sweetie girl, give mommy kisses. Give her kisses. Give her kisses. Give her kisses. Give her kisses. Good girl. Good puppy. Time to wake up. We get to do some RV maintenance today. We've never changed out the anode rod on our water heater tank. You know, we've owned this trailer for about 3 years now, and you're supposed to replace these every year, which I just recently found out. So hopefully when I take our old one out, which is right there, it's not gonna be just like totally destroyed or eaten away. Hopefully there's still some material left. They say you're supposed to check them at least once a year, and that's for the casual RVer, but we're full-timers, so we're gonna go ahead and see how that goes. And I ordered a magnesium anode rod. I know they make them in both magnesium and aluminum. We went with magnesium just because the information that I read online kind of pointed me toward our application using magnesium instead. But if you're not sure which one to go with yourself, you might wanna do some research of your own to figure out which type is going to be better for your application. And I also got this special tool that is specifically made for removing anode rods from RV water heaters. It just fits right onto the end of it, and then you just put a screwdriver through there for leverage, and you can turn it that way. You can also use a 1 1/16 socket with an extension to get these out, but I don't have any of those handy, so I just bought that. And you know, if you're curious for checking that out, that tool and the magnesium anode rods are linked in the description below for that. But go ahead and take this out and see how destroyed it is. But you're gonna wanna turn your water pump off and disconnect from any sort of pressurized water system beforehand, because the water tank is just gonna empty out after this.
Whoa. Oh boy, okay.
Great. Oh no. Look at this thing.
Oh, wow.
Wow, we definitely needed to switch it. Oh man.
It's so gone.
Huh. Oh, look at that.
That's so bad.
That is really bad. And at this point, you're supposed to take a hose and backflush your tank, shooting water in this way to get out all of this stuff. It's like a white powder. I'm pretty sure it's just magnesium oxide. The corrosion from this anode rod, you know, just like falling off, used to be here, and then it, you know, fell off, and now it's all up in the tank. Ours has a lot inside of it. It had a ton, but what we did is we just turned our water pump on. Since we're out boondocking, you know, we don't have a pressurized water source to use, so we can't hook a hose up. We just turned our water pump on and it started dumping water back out through through this hole, and I was able to like fish out the majority of it, but there's still a lot inside there. Thankfully though, we're going to be at my parents' house in 3 months, in about 3 months. So once we get there, then we'll flush this out, you know, the right way, get all that stuff out of it. But here's the difference between the old anode rod and a new anode rod. So let this be a lesson to you guys. Change these out every year, especially if you're a full-time RVer. This is a 3-year-old anode rod. Should have been changed out a long time ago. Just like any connection that you want to be watertight, you got to make sure to use a Teflon tape on the threads, and this anode rod is no different.
We are camped just on the south side of Joshua Tree on BLM land. We've actually camped in this area before, not in this exact same campsite. We are camped about 5 miles farther away than where we camped when we were here 2 years ago. And even though we're camping just outside of Joshua Tree, we actually have no plans to go into Joshua Tree this year. We saw almost everything we wanted to see last time we were here. I think we only missed like 1 or 2 hikes that we really wanted to go on that had a lot of history. And yeah, I just don't think we're gonna go into the park this time. There are so many things outside of Joshua Tree for us to see and for us to do. So we're excited to see some of the things, you know, that aren't the main attractions for the area. And this is the first time we've been in the desert and where it's warm in so long. How many months? Like 4 months?
Oh, it's been longer than that.
It's so long since we've been somewhere warm, and we've really been enjoying the warmth and the sunshine and the lack of snow.
I had 75 today.
75, yeah.
In February?
In February.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so, but this stop here in Joshua Tree, or, you know, on the BLM land south of Joshua Tree, is actually just a stopover point. We're kind of just trying to wait out the winter where it's warm before we start heading east a little bit, because we have to be back in Fort Wayne the end of April, because I have a friend that's getting married and I'm so excited. I'm in her wedding and I'm gonna help her with a whole bunch of stuff, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So we're just trying to stay warm before we have to start moving too far east.
Gotta wait till end of March, early April before we even think about going into the Midwest.
Yeah, so after we leave here, we'll probably hit up Arizona if it's warm enough. And yeah, but today we are going on a really cool hike. It's actually longer than a hike that I wanted to do. It's about 5 miles. It's a loop trail. I think it's called Ladder Canyon.
Ladder Canyon, yeah.
Yeah, Ladder Canyon Trail. And there are ladders to climb, which is why it gets its name.
Goes through a slot canyon.
Yeah, so it should be really, really cool, and I'm really excited. This is one of the cool, popular-ish hikes that are outside of Joshua Tree, and we hadn't done any hikes outside of Joshua Tree last time we were here, so.
And it's only like 20 miles away from our site. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, super sweet.
Well, we reached the end of our hike, I suppose. This is supposed to be a loop trail, but we have reached a dead end, even though we followed the painted white arrows that were on various rocks and the arrows that were made with rocks on the ground. It like led us up this like really steep ledge, and it was like very loose, like rocks and mud and stuff. It was really hard to get up, and then we finally get up and we're like, there's nowhere to go.
There's no trail right here.
Yeah.
And yeah, the very last rock, instead of just continuing straight, there was a rock that had an arrow that pointed sideways. And you can see where people had climbed up before, so I was just like, well, we have to go this way.
Yeah, we wanted to get up on top and be able to look down into the slot canyon. So, I mean, this is kind of what we wanted to accomplish anyway, and it's pretty neat. There's like, you know, these outlooks that you walk right out to the very end of, and it's like the perfect spot to just sit and have lunch, which is what we're gonna do. And then I think we're just gonna turn around and go back through the slot canyon the way we came. I mean, that's...
Yeah, it all depends on if we can get back down that ledge.
Yeah, I know.
It was really sketchy getting up, so...
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is gonna be interesting.
Speaking of lunch, David, I made you a special sandwich. Why might you be asking that I made David a special sandwich? Well, David, why don't you explain?
Yeah, it appears that I've developed a peanut allergy. Like, you guys that have been following us, you know how often we eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because they're delicious and they're really cheap. It's a great way to save money but still get like a healthy meal, you know, something quick, easy. But you know, over the past like 6 months, I've been noticing that every time I eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, the back of my throat starts to hurt, the top of my mouth starts to hurt, and I could even feel what felt like, I think, my throat getting a little tighter the last time I ate peanut butter and jelly. So I was like, okay, I think this is peanut allergies, and so I switched to almond butter, which is a good substitute.
Yeah, it's honey almond butter, and it tastes a lot like peanut butter to me.
It's definitely different, and the texture is different, and it's a lot more expensive too, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so Jenny made me an almond butter and jelly sandwich. So instead of a PB&J, it's a AB&J.
Yeah, but we had a ton of leftover peanut butter, so I get to eat the peanut butter now in all of my sandwiches. I'm at least glad that it wasn't a strawberry allergy, because we use strawberry jam. Yeah. And I figured if it wasn't a peanut butter allergy, then it was, or a peanut allergy, then it was something, a strawberry allergy or something. But you know, I still think that I would rather have like seasonal allergies than a food allergy. Yeah,
I always make fun of Jenny because she has really bad allergies, and I like to poke fun at her because I've never had allergies, like ever.
Yeah, so now you do.
Yeah, so now she's getting back at me, being like, you're allergic to something now. And I don't know, I disagree with you big time. I would rather have like a peanut allergy than a seasonal allergy, because I can just not eat peanuts, you know? What are you gonna do, not breathe the air, you know?
Oh. I guess that's true.
Yeah, you're over there with
I have to always take allergy medicine.
Runny nose, itchy eyes, itchy throat and stuff. I just substitute. I'm good to go.
Dang it, I'm still worse off. Okay, here you go. No, here you go. Alice, right here. Down. Okay.
The campsite that we're at near Joshua Tree National Park is actually about 5 miles east on I-10 from the BLM land that we were staying at 2 years ago, the last time we visited Joshua Tree. And the reason we're 5 miles away instead of, right there is because it is so busy there. It is jam-packed. It's like twice as busy as it was last time. So there were no sites available anywhere near there. So we were actually staying with a couple friends of ours, Justin and Rose, and they actually arrived here before us, and they looked everywhere and couldn't find a spot. And so they were finally able to find one here, thankfully, 5 miles down the dirt road. And one thing that is cool about this site is that just like a quarter mile up the road toward I-10 is the General Patton Museum, and it's got a ton of tanks outside, and I'm sure there is a lot of cool stuff inside. We haven't visited it yet, but we plan on checking it out before we get out of here. It just looks really cool. So if you do stay on the BLM south of Joshua Tree or in this site that we're at right now, then not only can you go in and check out Joshua Tree National Park and all the hiking that the trails like what we checked out on the BLM land outside of Joshua Tree, but there's also that museum that you can check out. I'm sure it's full of all sorts of war history, and there's even a ton of off-road trails around here. So there's just a ton to do, and it's really cool. And speaking of off-road trails, the road that we drove down to get to the Ladder Canyon Trail that we went on today, it had a sign that said 4x4 vehicles only. That's just not true at all. There were like minivans and cars and just like all sorts of not off-road vehicles in any sense of the term. So if you guys plan on going on the Ladder Canyon hike and you're driving down that road and you see that sign, don't be afraid, unless of course it's been like raining like crazy and the ground is really wet, then maybe you would need 4x4. But on a nice sunny day like today, 2-wheel drive, you're fine.
And I am making a classic for us, one that we have made hundreds of times. You may have seen it in other videos. It is our breakfast burritos, and I feel like every few months we change it up a little bit. This time I put garlic in it, and we've got a sweet onion and potatoes along with the eggs. I'm still gonna put cheese in it, and it'll be just a little bit different. So I guess every time we show it, it's probably just slightly different. But it is one of our favorites, and it is so filling and so delicious and really, really easy. Look at how cheesy it is.
It was a cold, wild winter. You were sleeping on my shoulder. I was praying that the raging storm would stay a little longer with your feet up
Butters.
on the dashboard.
Get out of here, kitty.
Thank you.
This is delicious. Oh, breakfast burritos.
Nice and easy.
Butters. Just totally photobombed us. Oh wow. That garlic is really good. Wow. Garlic and onions. Perfect recipe for awesome bread.